I was unemployed for 5 months, and I would like to share with you what I did in those 5 months. And the only reason why I survived those 5 months was because my then girlfriend, now wife, was essentially supporting both of us. It's a little unfortunate being unemployed, but thankfully she was willing and able to support both of us in those 5 months. Because this was in February of 18. I had just completed the year at the chamber, and I found out that the position would not be continued into the following year. There are a lot of positions like this that are grant funded. This is not necessarily new or surprising. Many times grants are 1 to 2 years and you don't know if the grants can be renewed. So I just wanted to point that out. As I mentioned in the intro, I was unemployed for 5 months. I wanted to kind of walk through the steps that I took to ensure that I did not go insane nor lose motivation. Many people become depressed when they're unemployed because you're sending out job application after job application, not hearing anything back. You may have an interview and then you still don't hear anything back, which is quite unfortunate. I don't understand that aspect of the job search. The company's not taking our time seriously because many times when you put in an application, it'll come back with a generic, we moved in a different direction or something similar. So it's quite frustrating. It'd be nice to know maybe where the gaps are as far as how you are not a good fit for the role, because I think that will help all of us when we search for a job, especially early on in our career. We don't have a lot of job experience. Later on, I get into how I ended up finding work. It relates to the last video I put out. If you want to understand the backstory on that, you can go ahead and check out that last video. Reflecting on those 5 months, there's a couple of tips or recommendations that I would have to stay motivated. And I do realize this is quite timely given that we're seeing a lot of layoffs and it's really hard for us to navigate that, especially if we're early on in our career. If you're more seasoned, perhaps it's easier. I don't know. I would love to hear from anyone that's more seasoned in their career and has been laid off and what that experience was like for you. But I know for me early on in my career, the challenge is you just don't know enough people and you just don't have enough experience to confidently say that you'll find a job in the next month or two. A couple of recommendations I want to share with you today is, number one is getting out and doing some sort of exercise. It could be going for a walk, a bike ride, the gym, a yoga. There's a number of things you could do because that's really all about mental health at that point. And I understand that that may be counterintuitive, but I think it's important for us to step away and find some time on your own, some solitude. It's one thing I really would emphasize for anyone, maybe perhaps even more so if you're unemployed. Just get out and do some sort of physical activity. For me, what I did was I biked to the beach. We live in Southern California. At that time, we were living in Long Beach, and I was able to go through downtown Long Beach all the way down to the bike path and just ride for 30 minutes, an hour, listen to music, come back rejuvenated, full of energy, and ready to go. And I think that helped in terms of the job search and being able to be focused and with a fresh perspective, given that you're not getting any responses and, day after day, you're putting in those applications and editing resumes and cover letters, which is quite cumbersome. And in every job application, you're filling out a profile, which is just nuts to me. I don't understand why we need to do that, and yes, we do want to change our resume and cover letter for the specific job. When you put your application in, they're looking for keywords and key phrases. So you want to be able to change your resume and cover letter to reflect those keywords and phrases. And if you can check off all those boxes, then you have a better chance. And I think, again, early on in your career, I don't think you're able to check off as many of those boxes. It's a little bit more challenging, I would say, just from my personal experience. Just to go back to the physical activity aspect of this, you're using your brain to think. You're going through and you're reading the job posting, you're changing your resume and cover letter to match the job posting and able to get out and do a physical activity. You're using your body at that point so you can kind of let your mind rejuvenate and revitalize. So when you jump back into the job search, you're fresh again, right? It's number one tip or recommendation. Get out, do a physical activity, maybe an hour a day or what have you. And again, I think that'll make the difference for you in the long term. And then this is the second recommendation or tip, doing some sort of skill set building. LinkedIn has LinkedIn Learning. And there's a whole plethora of other online courses like Coursera and many others that provide you a library of different training courses. Prior to LinkedIn Learning, there was lynda.com that LinkedIn purchased or bought. And lynda.com had all these courses. And a friend of mine shared this DVD with me when there was DVDs. Throwback to the DVD era. It was all about Excel. I figured that if I have the time to learn something, I might as well learn something like Excel. And Excel is just crazy. There's just so much you can learn. And what I would say for me, and this may be applicable to you, is learn what is necessary for your specific role. Don't try to go and learn everything about Excel because, to be honest, there's a lot that I do not remember. Spend the time to learn a new skill And for you, that could look very different. It doesn't have to be Excel. And again, there's a lot. I mean, YouTube, you can go on YouTube right now and search for how-tos. And I think if you could take the time to do that, you'll come out of that unemployment phase stronger and more equipped with additional skills that you did not have prior. There's a lot of information in the palm of our hands on our cell phones. Definitely the excuses are running out. And I think the challenge that we have, and you're probably, if you're watching this video, is we're spending time consuming content. So I understand there's some irony here as far as me putting this video out and recommending you go out and do a physical activity and you learn a new skill set when there's just so much content to consume. But if we can just limit to what, like I mentioned, what's necessary for you and your personal journey and path and what's going to be valuable for your job responsibilities in your career, I think that's where you should be spending most of your time anyway. So this is a bonus tip or recommendation. I think discipline's super important to be able to spend the time going out every day, doing a physical activity, A, and B, spending the time to go through, complete application, edit resume, and edit cover letters. You got to have the discipline to be able to do that day in and day out. I know it's hard and it's frustrating and don't see the results right away. I didn't see them for 5 months, and you throw in life circumstances, whatever that may be for you. And, you know, luckily for me, my then girlfriend, now wife, was supporting both of us. So, you know, shout out to her for willing to do that. She could have just kicked me out because, you know, I'm a bum. I'm not bringing anything in to pay the bills and keep this roof over her head. And, you know, she was willing to bite the bullet for both of us. So appreciate you for doing that. I don't know if you'll see this, but in any case, to complete the circle here, in my last video, I mentioned networking, and there was a couple of folks that helped me with jobs. And the reason why I was only unemployed for those 5 months is because there was 2 individuals that reached out to me to see if there was any interest on my end for these roles. And there was a lot of interest because I was unemployed for 5 months. So really just want to emphasize again, if you can meet as many people as possible, develop real relationships, add some value to them. Now to bring this home, again, if you could spend 30 minutes to an hour doing a physical activity, it'll help you rejuvenate, you know, going out for a walk or a hike or something enjoyable to you is a good start. And the second thing is developing a skill set, whatever that may look like. Again, there's a ton of resources and videos and books that you can access and learn a new skill, or maybe even reach out to someone in your network that would be willing to take you under their wing and help you learn what they know. And you'll come out of the situation stronger and more confident, knowing that you have additional skills. And then that bonus tip or recommendation is just having the discipline to stay dedicated every day to do the job search and, you know, go out and do the physical activity and develop the new skill set. So in due time, you will find success. I appreciate you stopping by. If there's any additional insights you want to share, please let me know down in the comments. Thank you.